Hey, welcome to Devlog number 4 for the Dice of Ruin game. Again, this is a game I'm working on with my daughter Amanda and made some really good progress this week. A little more difficult than what I had anticipated, but I think it worked through the problem really well. In the past, we got the dice rolling, we've got the disasters moving and doing those kinds of things, but I didn't have any population growing on the tiles. So I went ahead and set up a system for that. And let me just kind of walk you through the system real quick. Here's my main game flow. I'm going to go to my population growth and you'll see my big spaghetti. It's quite a bit. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I have a couple loops here. And with these loops, what I'm doing is I'm checking how many tiles there are within our game. So you can see I've got a 3x3 grid. And I'm checking all of those tiles. And I have prefabs inside of each of those tiles that have people. And these are just game objects that are turned off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to control turning those on and off, and that is the population for that. So these are prefabs that are already in the game, so I don't have to generate anything with those. I'm just turning those on and off. Anyway, going back to my population growth, it's pretty exciting because what I'm doing is I'm randomly picking one of those tiles to be our starting point. And then we'll start to grow that population out over so many loops. And then as that population gets to a certain limit or a threshold, then population will start going to other tiles. And so it's going to check to see what tiles are available to send to. So whether it's north, west, south, or east. And then it's looping through those to see what's the population of that tile and how many people we're going to send over from the original tile. And and people are still growing each loop. So I have that set up to be 8 loops right now, and there's a half-second wait in between each, so it happens pretty quick. Anyway, okay, so now we're going to see our population grow right at the very beginning. So it chose a tile randomly, and then as people kind of go into, they're going to start to populate the tiles around it. So randomly chose that upper left-hand corner. And then as it reached the threshold of 10 characters or 10 people, then automatically started overflowing into the tiles that were next to it. So that is the gist. Now let me go ahead and just run a disaster real quick. So let's see what kind of disaster we get. And then what I'm doing is I have the tiles keep track of their own numbers. So I've got a storm at 20%. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and I'll run my storm going this way. So it's going across, and it will kill off a few people, hopefully. And then it's going to give us our results. And what's happening is because all the tiles are keeping track of their own people, and then in my main population numbers loop, I'm keeping track of all of the tiles numbers. And so when it gets to the finishing of that loop, it's sending information back to the main population growth FSM. And so I don't have the results showing just yet, but we can actually see in our population array, we can see the tiles. I have all of those as elements, but here in this array, but I have 15 characters, 2 characters, 17, 13. So you can see I'm keeping track of how many people are in each tile as the project goes along, or as the disaster kills people and then the population regrows. So that is what we accomplished. Again, this is a big spaghetti of logic, but it actually works really well. So it took me a little bit longer than I thought, but it's really cool because it's automatically picking a tile and starting to grow the population, overflowing into the surrounding tiles, and all of that's working. So there we go. There is devlog number 4. Peace.